people often ask me, oh, you're training for the Olympics. Are you training for the Olympics? Do you want to go to the Olympics? And it's really a puzzling thought to me at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, the reality of the fact is, even when I played football, for me to think that the majority of kids that ever played football didn't even think about the NFL or the XFL or any level of professional sports at some level, if they didn't think about, I'm not saying that they thought about it, but if it didn't cross their mind, well, I think they'd be lying to themselves. It at least crossed your mind at some point. The same thing with the Olympics. Anybody that ever does a track event at any period of time, they definitely have considered, not even considered, but it's the synapses, it's crossed their mind, right? It doesn't matter what you do. You can be a driver, you could be an Olympic lifter, it doesn't matter. You think about, as a human being, you think about what's the pinnacle of my thing that I'm doing right now. There's no way around you not thinking about that. Even if you say that you can't get there and it's not possible, etc., it doesn't matter. You still thought about it. And those thoughts have either left you with something that, okay, I can do this, or I've decided that I'm going to do this, or I don't have the physical capabilities, the time, the energy, etc. And what I realize now is, at the end of the day, there's no way to get away from those thoughts. There's no way. I think these are just normal human thoughts. That's why people ask me the question. But to get so hung up on one outcome or one way that you're going to end up to put your value into whether you do one thing or not is detrimental. I think it's really, really detrimental for any human being. It could be CEO, it could be head engineer, it could be captain of an airline, and I can keep on going down the list. For you to get so caught up in you getting to be that one thing, for you to put so much value into becoming, and it doesn't have to be athletic, it doesn't have to be an athletic pursuit. It's bad for your human psyche. It's very, very bad. Even you saying that lifting 700 pounds or whatever, it doesn't, that's just another point of reference. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. The point that I'm trying to bring up to you is, where do you really put your value as a human being, right? Okay. How do you treat your friends? How do you treat your mom? How do you treat your dad? How do you treat your sister? How do you treat your brothers? I think this is more the thing that we kind of got to think about as we function on this earth, as we survive on this earth, versus, okay, a perfect example is, did I make $1 million this year? Okay, even if you made $10 trillion this year, are you a fucking asshole? There's plenty of people that have done it, and they're fucking assholes. Okay. It doesn't do anything for you to get so caught up in one thing that you lose perspective of what's important in your life. And it's different for everybody. I don't know what's important in anybody that's listening to this. I don't know what's important to different people. What's important to me is my family, people around me that care about me. I like to lift. That's important to me. But I'm not going to put an absolute value sign around just doing one thing, and that's the difference of what or who I am. There's no sense in trying to specify that if I don't do this, that's it. I'm nobody. That's fake news. You can be anybody. Anybody can be anybody at any time. From 18 years old to 60 years old, you can be anybody at any time. You choose to be that person. You choose to be that person, or you choose not to be that person. And one of the things that Kobe always brought up is he was and the videos and stuff like that, he was definitely a workaholic. He was definitely a great basketball player. But that wasn't the end all be all. He was a leader. And that's kind of what you got to get at. He was a leader on that team for however many years that he played. I don't know off the top of my brain, but he was a leader. And that's even bigger than being a good basketball player or being a good hammer thrower or being a good et cetera, et cetera. You have to figure out what is important. You do have to figure that out. And then how can you actually spend the time refining what's important to you? Because if you don't, well, you could be left with, let's say you did throw the world record in the discus. You'd be left with just that. How important was that to you? What if you lost your wife because you were so focused on that? It doesn't, it's all relative and it's really, really crazy for me that I have the perspective that I have now, that I can see the silver. I can see where everything goes. And the problem is that we, especially as men, we put too much value into one thing. We put way too much value into one thing. And it has nothing to do with necessarily who we are and how we are and how we show up for people in our lives. It shouldn't have anything to do with that. So I know that's a lot, but this is something that sticks on the back of my mind because, hey, cool, you went to the Olympics, or cool, you made $1 million. Cool, you're one of the fastest NASCAR drivers in the world or whatever. I start to think about what else are you? And the Liver King, when he came out and said that he wasn't natty, he has 2 kids, a wife, and everything. I mean, there's people that dream about having what he has. And for you to tell a story so that you can feel better or whatever it was, I don't really care. I don't really even care. But the point is, and Schultz brought this up in the interview with him, he said, your husband, your wife, or your husband, your father, your friend. What about those things, right? It's cool to look big. It's cool to be a bodybuilder. It's cool to lift a lot of weights. It's cool to do a lot of different things. But where does that end you? What's the end purpose of that, right? And if it was all for nothing, then, or just to achieve something, then what are we even talking about? So I took some hammer throws. It looked really, really crispy today, actually. Did some weight room action. It looked good as well. I'm going to have to refine that workout a couple more. I'm probably going to do that workout for at least probably 2 or 3 more weeks. And we're going to figure out what comes from it. I think that it's a decent workout regimen. And at the end of the day, as much as I think about aesthetics and stuff like that, we want to produce good throws. We want to produce the best throws that we can at the end of the day. And so that's where I have this tug and pull with myself to what type of workouts should you be doing? What type of workouts will result in the best result as far as throwing? Well, workouts just result in you feeling good when you leave and your back not hurting, or et cetera, et cetera. We can go down the list. So I don't know. I know nothing. And you're going to hear me say that a million more times. But click the Patreon link. That's just about all I got, guys. You should already know what the deal is. Run on your toes. Keep your mouth closed. Lock your nose and save your throws. And most importantly, you live to fight another day. I'm going to get out of here.